Mike.
And I'm Nick.
And this is NFGeeks. All right. Well, Nick, one thing I like to do with all of the INFJs, not just the INFJs, but all the NFs, is to do a love episode. Nice. And that's meant to kind of have the NFs sort of talk about love, because love is sort of our specialty in a lot of ways. And it doesn't mean the other types don't have love or share love, but there's some sort of deep contemplation about love that is unique to NFs, that is almost not translatable to the other types. Totally. It's translatable to other NFs, but because they all get it when I talk about the love episode. They're like, oh yeah, please, let's talk about love for, you know, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Where I don't get that from the SJ is like, I have to pay bills. What, can we do it for 5 minutes? You know. So, I would like, and again, I think I am going to do other types eventually with this love issue. So when I say love, so let's get into it. Yeah. When I say the word love, how does this resonate with you? What are, you know, how does it connect to you? What are the ways that you express it or understand it, feel it? You know, what, you know, how can you react to it right this moment? Totally.
To me, love isn't just about a romantic interest or a significant other.
Although we're going to get to that.
Oh yeah, it's right on the top of the list, but it extends to just about everything. To me, it is the driving force behind everything. Even if it's not openly expressed that this is why I'm doing this, it's because I love it. What it really is it still is the driving force behind everything. It's the true mission. Even if it's your own secret mission that you're like, I'm doing this because I love it, or I'm not doing this because I don't love it. And it extends to everything. I'll knock off the list. The most obvious is that in romantic situations, ever since I can remember, ever since being a little kid that was just first having crushes on whoever. It's
my first crush was at 8 years old. So.
Yeah, that's another thing with NFs. When all other kids in school, and can even be pre-adolescents, are like, oh, girls suck.
Yeah,
boys suck. The NFs are secretly like, yeah, they do too.
Yeah, exactly. No kidding. Yeah, as you sit there fantasizing.
One day.
Yes. I can say the name of my first fantasy at 8 was Sarah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the thing is that almost every crush I had throughout school and up until the real serious relationship that I've been in, you always thought at some point or another, no matter how good or bad or mismatched it was, you always thought that was the person that you were going to be with forever.
Sure. I think that now about the doctor. I do. Yeah.
But, and that's it. You go into I went into every crush, not even relationship, just crush, thinking that's gonna be my wife someday.
Sure.
And it just never was the case up until about 7 years ago. I've been in a 7-year relationship.
Wow.
Perfect.
Better
match.
than me.
Perfect match for me. To steal a quote, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be perfect for each other.
Yeah, that's right.
And that doesn't necessarily mean opposites attract.
No, that's right.
Or that perfect similarities attract.
No, right.
It's perfect complements.
Yeah, I actually say something similar about it in love, is that you can have greatness without perfection.
Yeah.
Greatness doesn't require perfection.
No.
You know, or you know, absolute perfection anyway.
Yeah, perfection to me doesn't exist. It's perfect fit. Even that doesn't necessarily exist.
Sure.
Someone's going to pick me apart for that, but it's not. It's fit. It's really compatibility, and like I said, not just in a relationship. This extends to occupation, hobbies, whatever it is you do, or that I do as an NF is really. It has to be because I love it. If I don't, it can be an on and off switch. If I love something or somebody, it's all the way. If I don't, it can get a little dicey.
What I do is with some of the things you've talked about is kind of go back to the past and make ourselves go back to the future. And that is, so you talked about your first crushes, you know, and those are always great NF things. And, you know, the thing about dating in NFs is that we date for all the marbles.
Yes.
You know, it's for all the. It's not a game. We're not. It's not doing it for fun. You know, this is. It's like war. You know, we're fighting for everything. Everything's on the line.
Yeah.
Yes. So I want to talk about the early crushes. What were some? And you don't have to about specific, But that always finds me interesting. I'm always interested in that, especially from an NF point of view. What were some of the commonalities of the fantasies with the crushes, or what about them really sticks in your mind to this day?
That it was just always going to be it was going to be a perfect fit, and if it wasn't, I was going to make it a perfect fit.
Oh God, that's such an NF mistake.
Oh yeah, I'm not defending that whatsoever. It is all
no, but every NF understands. Every NF just went, oh, no kidding.
Yeah, trying to make it work, and just trying to covet the idea that this is the one person. And like I said, this is any age. It could have been a sophomore in high school, where things are,
It could even be middle age.
Anything.
It goes that far.
But it's everything. You land on everything as if that's from it to the end.
Sure. Now let's take it into the present. Now you're in a 7-year relationship, and so how is this manifesting in a more complex adult way?
Absolutely. I'd say I got into Myers-Briggs about 1.5 years ago, and before that, I just always knew that the person I'm in a relationship with, she was just a perfect fit. Like I said, we're very unlike in some ways, very similar in other ways, but it's not all going in the same direction. She's an ISFJ. I'm an INFJ.
Yeah, that's a unique combination.
Yeah,
especially to survive 7 years.
Yeah, temperament-wise, it's people would view us as opposites. If everyone was aware of the temperaments, they'd say, "Oh, wow, yeah." And that's where it gets opposite. Where it gets complementary is, and just to get into some functions, I think the two judging functions are the same, and they're in the same stacked order. She's also an extroverted feeler in her auxiliary, as I am, and we're both introverted thinkers. And I know there's something with that going on because our filter is different. So where she filters everything through introverted sensing, very concrete things, perfect memory for every step of her day. I filter everything through introverted intuition. The way they come out, though, is expressed in a similar tone. They're definitely expressed in a very similar.
Well, that's fascinating. I get what you're saying because because my sister's an ISFJ, and so the sensing is deeper than the feeling cannot express everything they're sensing.
Exactly.
And your feeling cannot express everything you're intuiting.
No, not by a long shot.
Right. So there's a very strong similarity there, even though the sensing and intuitive is very different.
So what I'll say is
I never thought of that.
To go through it this way, what I've kind of thought about, what I've kind of held on to in belief is that it's the what of what we're filtering is different, totally different, but the how of how we're extroverting it, and then re-introverting it through TI is very similar. The expression of what we're filtering is it's done in a very similar tone, and then how we reprocess it through TI is also similar. So the communication style, to make it like more kind of crisp, is the communication.
I like that word.
Crisp.
Yeah.
Crisp.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. The communication style is very similar, but what is going in is very different.
All right,
and that's a good compliment thing.
Sure. All right, so let's get into the opposite of that then.
Yes.
When is there conflict? When does this trip you up?
Okay.
You know?
This is the best way I can describe
What's the pattern, that kind of thing?
Why it works is because it's not so much that when there is an argument or a disagreement, which there inevitably are, instead of it, where I think opposites would have issues, we're never fighting, we're sparring. That's the best way I can sit. Whenever there's been an argument, as minor or major as it's been, it's never gotten into a real nasty, completely I'm not gonna get what it is you're trying to articulate, even if I don't understand it. It's always sparring to a point where, we're playing around with it, and finally we always reach I'll agree to disagree with you, but I still get it. Like, I still I get it, even though I wouldn't see it that way naturally. So yeah, the opposites. It's not so much say in function order or anything like that, or in functions. Whenever I notice a disagreement, it always goes back to temperament. It's always like an SJ versus NF thing, and that's the best way I can describe it is very concrete. If it hasn't been absorbed, if a tangible thing hasn't been absorbed, it's
for
not.
her?
For her, it's not the natural inclination to theorize and be like, well, let's put this pattern together and see what could have gone wrong. Whereas what happens with me is it's the complete opposite. If she's saying, oh, well, you said this, I go, I don't remember, because I just don't remember.
Right.
It's more of me kind of creating the argument and then kind of bouncing it off until we finally get to a place where we're like, we'll agree to disagree.
Wow, that's great. It's very interesting because, you know, when we're having those issues, when I'm sort of having that kind of discussion with the doctor, you know, we're both NFs and we're both extroverted intuitives, you know, we're almost a little too similar, and it ends up being like, you know, like in overblown soap operas where they overblow the emotions for the soap opera. So it's always things like, "Don't you know that I love you?" You know, and I can't take it anymore. And then, but because we're NFs, it doesn't necessarily live in we don't actually end in agreement, but we actually do end in forgiveness. Yeah. You know, because we're NFs. So you know, I'm sorry too. You know, it immediately comes into that. But I don't know that we end up in agreement necessarily in terms of ideas. You know, we end up in agreement in terms of, I'm sorry I hurt you, I'm sorry I hurt you too, but not necessarily in the functioning way that you're talking about it. You know, it's very different. So it's very interesting that you would say that, because my natural inclination would say, boy, ISFJ, INFJ, I don't know about that. I never heard that combination before. But you're actually giving a very positive, in 7 years. So.
It's 7 years, yeah. I mean, at this point, you know, if you at least feel, I mean, as an NF, I felt it, and she's going to love this because she's going to watch this.
Oh, really? Oh, that's sweet.
Because I'm going to make her watch it, even though she's an SJ and she might not be interested. I'm an NF, and she has to be interested.
That's right. We'll have to get her on.
Hey, I was talking to her about it, and she's like, yeah, maybe, I'll think about it.
Yeah. We'll do a love episode with her.
But I knew right away.
Oh, really?
And I'm not.
Oh, that's your INFJ going on.
I know, very cliche, I get it, but it's what it was. It is what it was. I knew right away. And that could have been an intuition thing.
Sure.
Just kind of putting the pieces together right away and saying, yeah, it works.
All right, well, let's now expand this out. What are some other areas beyond romance where you really feel love?
Absolutely.
You know, in any other way in terms of anything, art, nature, your vocation, where do you feel it the strongest?
Vocation or avocation, both. Like a good NF, I was into art, music, writing. Were always the big three gravitations that, again, from like a really young age, it was just all there.
Could you speak to music a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah. I was in a band for a good long time, and we did some pretty good things. That was my occupation. Last year at this time, we were playing many shows with the Doobie Brothers on their tour last year. So this was my job.
So pretty professional, or at least semi-professional. I mean,
absolutely.
Really, like, this was the real deal. This wasn't being in a garage and playing to your mom and the dog.
No, the good, the bad, and the ugly of it was of being in the music business. There are many good things. NFs classically like music.
Sure.
And a lot of them play music. And the good was that playing music for an occupation was the best thing.
So a love of music. A love of playing.
A love of playing, creating.
Did you write your own songs?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
Yep, we had some songs on the radio. Still do, kind of. I've left the band a little while ago. And that gets into the bad and the ugly, is that the music business is still a business. And with the business side, that's where, especially being a feeler, can get a little dicey, because when you want to value everything, management and companies that you're involved with who are kind of funding you, they don't see it that way.
Sure. one of the things I've had to just straight up accept and incorporate is that any kind of artistic medium, including YouTube, kind of operates under jungle law in a way.
Yeah.
You know, it's survival of the fittest. And, you know, you have to struggle. I mean, you have to work hard and then rewards, but you also have to, you know, really kind of, you know, get yourself into battles and things, you know?
Yeah, I would say the bad wasn't so much the music business. The bad was getting into conflict with band members and just having things not work out creatively in a writing process. Musically, it's very tricky to always see eye to eye, which is very rare. When it happens, it's like...
It cooks.
When it doesn't, it really doesn't. That's the bad. The ugly is when the business side of it really just gets too complicated.
I know, it sounds like the Beatles.
And the irony of it is that a lot of the bulk of musicians that I've been in working with are feelers.
Yeah.
Some of the best ones. Some of the best business people, arguably, can be thinkers. When you have to be both in the music industry, it's really tricky, and it's hard to trust people in management and above that who are actually going to respect your values and, you know, ultimately. Like, I get how it works. You need the business side for it to be funded and to have it be actually profitable, but it gets ugly.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're out of time, but thank you very much, Nick.